Hello and welcome to the new series of Drishti IAS. I am Pooja Devedi, and in this segment today we are going to discuss about BRICS Foreign Ministers Summit. This topic is important from the perspective of prelims and also from the perspective of GS Mains Paper 2. So let's begin with the first topic, that is why is it in the news. Now, as you can see, Minister S. Jaishankar has held the chair for BRICS Foreign Ministers meeting today. And if we talk about the highlights of the meeting, after we have discussed the highlights, we will also talk about BRICS. So first, on the 15th anniversary of the BRICS Foreign Minister Summit, India has held chairship, and this summit, as you can see, was held through virtual space. And in the year 2006, the first ever BRICS Foreign Ministers Summit held in New York. And if we talk about the important packed agenda that has been declared to be adopted in this particular summit, India has talked about certain things like 4 key deliverables such as reform of multilateral institutions such as WHO, United Nations Security Council, World Trade Organization. India secondly talks about counter-terrorism cooperation. India also talked about use of technology to achieve sustainable development goals and enhancing people-to-people cooperation. If we talk about China, what did China say? China has acknowledged and shown its condolences, given its condolences to the Indian counterpart, talked about the number of rising deaths and the number of deaths that have already taken place due to COVID-19 pandemic. And it also has said that we need cooperation. China is ready to cooperate with India in the post-COVID pandemic era. Let's talk about South Africa. South Africa has given a lot of emphasis on plugging the gap when it comes to vaccine poverty. It has talked about waiver when it comes to acquisition of vaccine from World Trade Organization, waiver for acquiring vaccine so as vaccine poverty can be reduced. And she made a very nice statement that none of us are safe until all of us are safe. If we move on to Brazil thanked India. It talked about the launch of the Amazonia 1, which it launched with the help of India. It thanked India, expressed its gratitude, and also talked about its help that has been received for vaccine from China as well as Russia. When it comes to Russia, Russia talked about transnational crime, transboundary crime from the digital space, and it also acknowledged the rising volatility in the contemporary times, the negativity among different nations. So all countries, they have talked about growing cooperation. They have emphasized that BRICS is still alive and thriving. Many countries would have thought that BRICS has become a stagnant, you can call it, summit because it is not an organization, it's an annual summit. But India has again, after having a leadership role this year, it has shown that yes, we can have summits virtually like we already had been having. Let's move on to BRICS. Now, BRICS is an acronym for Brazil, Russia, India, and China, also South Africa. This acronym was proposed by Jim O'Neill of Goldman Sachs in the year 2001. And after South Africa joined in the year 2010. What is this? This is not an organization but an annual summit of leaders. If we talk about summits, basically, summits are held at foreign minister level, at Sherpa, and the annual leaders summit. Alright, let's move on and talk about BRICS. The structure, it does not exist in the form of any organization but an annual summit between the supreme leaders of 5 nations. Some were presidents, some were prime ministers. The chairmanship of the forum is rotated annually among the members in accordance with the acronym BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. BRICS cooperation in the past decade has expanded to include an annual program of 100 sectoral meetings. Together, BRICS accounts for about 40% of the world's population and about 30% of the GDP, making it a critical economic engine, and it's an emerging investment market and global power bloc. In the year 2006, as already told you, the 4 countries initiated a regular informal diplomatic coordination with the annual meetings of foreign ministers at the margins of the general debate of the UN General Assembly. Also, this successful interaction led to the decision that a dialogue was to be carried out at the level of heads of state of government in annual summit. Timeline: the first BRIC summit took place in the year 2009 in the Russian Federation and focused on issues such as reform of the global financial architecture. South Africa was invited to join BRICS in the year December 2010, after which the group adopted the acronym BRICS, and South Africa subsequently attended the third BRICS summit in Sanya, China in March 2011. If we talk about the objectives, it's to deepen and broaden, also intensify cooperation within the grouping. Suppose right now, if we talk about where do we need cooperation, we need to build our world again post-COVID pandemic. We need cooperation when it comes to crime in the digital arena. We need to break the terrorism chain, the transnational terrorism. We need to make sure that vaccination poverty, vaccination nationalism, these could be countered. So all these areas, BRICS can play a leading role. Now, economic cooperation. Agreements have been concluded in the areas of economic and trade cooperation, innovation, customs, strategic cooperation between the BRICS Business Council, contingent reserve agreement, and new development bank. People-to-people exchange. If we talk about people-to-people exchange, seek to forge new friendship, deepen relations, and it is also one of the 4 deliverables for India to enhance people-to-people partnership this year. Such people-to-people exchanges include the Young Diplomat Forum, Parliamentarian Forum, Trade Union Forum, Civil BRICS, and the Media Forum. Moving on, political and security cooperation. If we talk about in this particular summit, it was also talked about that all the countries need to accept and respect the integrity, sovereignty of the countries, the borders basically. BRICS provides opportunities for sharing policy advice and exchange of best practices in the terms of domestic as well as regional challenges, and this entire outlook that BRICS has, it needs to do it in order to have a more balanced approach and also respect in the multilateral forums, in the multilateral cooperation. Moving on, cooperation mechanism is 3. First is track 1, which is formal diplomatic engagement amongst national governments. Second one includes cooperation through government-affiliated institutions such as state-owned enterprise and business council. And third one, track 3, is people-to-people engagement and also civil society engagement. Let's talk about BRICS 2021. India is the hosting country and the chair of BRICS Foreign Minister, as we have already discussed, and this is the third time India will be doing that after 2012 and 16. The important things on the table were COVID-19 pandemic, global and regional issues of concern, sustainable development, and terrorism. And if we talk about the BRICS Foreign Minister Summit, it was first held in 2006. That was BRIC originally. We have already discussed that. And moving ahead, in 2010, South Africa was invited to the BRICS Foreign Minister meeting, and then this group convened meetings to deliberate on issues we have already discussed above. Moving ahead, India and BRICS. What is the importance of BRICS for India? India can benefit from the collective strength and also play a leading role. Why can't it? India can play a leading role in the emerging situations such as the COVID-19 pandemic. And those issues can not only be, as it is an international organization, India can implement whatever policies it has implemented when it comes to COVID-19. If they were successful, India can also come forward and talk about its implementation in the different countries of BRICS. And India remains engaged with BRICS countries on its energy membership. Very important. Nuclear supplies group membership is very important to India. And India remains engaged with all the countries in order to increase its chances to be included in energy. The NDB, National New Development Bank, will help India to raise and avail resources for infrastructure and sustainable development projects. We need that, especially post-COVID. Now, the NDB has approved its first set of loans, which included a loan of US $250 million in respect of India for multi-tranche financing facility for renewable energy and financing scheme. Moving ahead, let's talk about the challenges. The marked dominance of the big threes, Russia, China, and India, is a challenge for countries such as Brazil and South Africa. And now, after COVID-19, it is for sure that the regional imbalance and inequality would increase. That is why BRICS need a proper cooperation when it comes to mitigating vaccine poverty. BRICS will need to expand its agenda for increasing its relevance, which it is doing right now, actually. As BRICS moves forward, foundational principles of BRICS, that is respect for sovereignty, equality and pluralism in the global governance. It needs to do that on ground, and especially with respect to China, especially with respect to India and also other countries. The military standoff between India and China is a big challenge, and now again India and China, as they are becoming extremely informal dialoguing, they are becoming extremely cooperative nowadays. But India needs to be aware of China's intentions as well. And this standoff should not spill over to BRICS. That is also another challenge. China's effort to co-opt nation states, which are integral to its Belt and Road Initiative, into a broader political engagement has the potential to cause conflict among the BRICS members. Now, Belt and Road Initiative has, of course, been pushed behind because of the COVID-19, and China's reputation when it comes to pan the entire globe right now is deteriorating, especially in the light of the new theory that has emerged that the virus was leaked from Wuhan lab and it does not have any natural ancestor. So it is being theorized by the US and many other countries that it was a deliberate attempt. If not deliberate attempt, then it was being developed. The virus was being developed in a Wuhan lab, which China did not acknowledge. Moving ahead, let's talk about the way forward. BRICS did well in the first decade to identify issues of common interest, and it can also do that now. So we need to actually look at the common issues and try to resolve it. For BRICS to remain relevant in the next decade, it should definitely try to upgrade itself when it comes to the rising challenges of in the digital arena, in the arena of cross-border terrorism, in the arena of climate change, of course. BRICS nation needs to recalibrate their approach and recommit to the founding ethos, which is respecting the sovereignty and equality. And they must build on the success of New Development Bank and invest in additional BRICS institution, which is very needed in the post-COVID pandemic era. It will be useful for BRICS to develop an institutional research wing along the lines of OECD, offering solutions that are better suited to the developing world. Let's move on to our question. BRICS Strategic Partnership for Global Stability, Shared Security and Innovative Growth. In this context, examine the relevance of BRICS and upholding the voice of developing nations in 150 words. So that's it for today. Tomorrow we shall meet again with another segment. Until then, stay updated, very safe, and thank you so much for watching.